All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 100 and somewhere between 122 and 135 pound divisions, where Gervonta Davis responds to suggestions that he fight Monster Inoue at, I can only suppose, 135 pounds. And Gervonta Davis says something that I think is pretty honorable and pretty much common sense, which is that Monster Inoue don't want nothing with him. So let's not get carried away, because that would be in the phrasing of some UK boxing experts, a absolute mismatch. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be talking about two of the best fighters in the world. My number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and my number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Number 1 being Terrence Crawford, number 2 being Gervonta Davis, and number 3 being Monster Inoue. There was a Instagram post made yesterday by one of the most outstanding boxing pages that there is on the internet, which is the Rise Podcast. Shout out to the Rise Podcast, who caught a little bit of it, who caught a stray from Gervonta Davis, who, by the way, is in the same gym with them. So clearly a disagreement about pushing for a fight that Gervonta Davis does not seem as if he wants, that he's interested in, or that he thinks is realistic. And this also has something to do with the conversations about Gervonta Davis in fights with guys that are at 140 and 147 pounds as well. Now, before I get into it, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, please. And share the video if you like it, hit the thumbs up. If you're a longtime subscriber and supporter like my guy Matty Yo, Barbara D, Cool Boy Steph, all the people, Bass Reeves, Kamal Oz, and all the other people who come by to chat on a regular basis and support in the super thanks of videos like this. Thank you guys. It goes a very, very long way. But let's get into this because, yeah, this is about right. So Monster Inoue beats Marlon Tapales to become an undisputed champion at 122 pounds. Does it very quickly within a year. And I think that's a good accomplishment. Doing it is a good accomplishment. I'm not really that big on how fast he does it, because politics come into play with that stuff. Whether or not you have a big stadium in Japan and they're willing to pay the money for the fighters to come over there, whether the fighters that have the belts are willing to switch promotional companies. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this undisputed winning an undisputed title that does not necessarily have anything to do with how good you are in a ring. Some things that, now I'm not saying that winning undisputed doesn't have anything to do with how good you are. I'm saying there's certain aspects of becoming undisputed that are not related to how good you are. They're related to who promotes you or what the money is that's back in the fights for you to be able to get. For example, Gary Russell Jr. may have become undisputed at 126 pounds if the UK fighters that continually hold 126 pound belts would have fought Gary Russell Jr., but they didn't want to fight him. So how can you unify belts if people don't want to fight you, right? However, Monster Inoue is a terrific fighter. So when the Rise Podcast posted, do you guys want to see this fight between Gervonta Davis and Monster Inoue? My initial thought was I would not like to see that fight, because I think that fight is a mismatch. I don't think that those guys, I think that Monster Inoue would be dumb to try to go move up in weight and try to fight Gervonta Davis, because that would probably end horrendously bad for him. I'm telling you, I would like to see the fight if those guys were the same weight class, and I still believe it would end up very bad for Monster Inoue against Gervonta Davis. To me, I think Gervonta Davis is one of the most underrated fighters in the world. Easily one of the most underrated fighters in the world if you listen to what people talk to him about him. Because if you look at what he does in the ring, the guy can literally do everything. He has, and in my personal opinion, when I look at him and I look at Monster Inoue, I think Gervonta Davis does everything better than Monster Inoue. At the very least, he does the very good things that Monster Inoue does, he does as well as Monster Inoue, probably better, and that's clean and effective punching and effective aggression. Gervonta Davis is absolutely no joke in those departments, and he has better defense, and he has better ring generalship than Monster Inoue. But add to that the very obvious issue, which is that Gervonta Davis is much bigger than Monster Inoue is. Monster Inoue is right now at 122. Gervonta Davis started at 126. Those guys are around, I suspect they're around the same height, but they're not near the same size, the same strength. I just don't, even though Monster Inoue is a little, and at this point, Monster Inoue is a little older than Gervonta Davis is. I just think that is something that is a mismatch. It's a mismatched fight, but at the same time, giving as much credit as I possibly can give to Monster Inoue for being a terrific fighter. He's really shown that he is a very, very solid fighter, and one of the best fighters in the world. But the idea of him fighting Gervonta Davis, it's probably not going to happen. Now, that's the same thing that I say when people consistently try to put Gervonta Davis in there with guys that are significantly bigger than him. And that's one thing that I like about Gervonta Davis in the response that he had to talking about the fight, which is that he's nowhere near his weight class. Since he's nowhere near his weight class, why would he think about fighting him? Same thing should apply to people when they were talking about Gervonta Davis fighting Keith Thurman, or Gervonta Davis, honestly, Gervonta Davis fighting guys that are going into the ring at 165 pounds, right? That are walking into the ring at over 170 pounds. They're not the same size. They're not the same size fighter. Gervonta Davis really isn't even a 135 pound fighter. He's a 130 pound fighter. He's a small 135. So I like that Gervonta Davis is talking about the size as being a factor in a fight. People are very selective with that. Now, here's an example of people being selective with it. If I was to say that Teofimo Lopez needs to fight Jaron Ennis, Teofimo Lopez fans would immediately be like, oh, why are you trying to get Teofimo Lopez beat? Why are you trying? That guy's 147 pounds. He's a big 147 pounds. And Teofimo Lopez started his career at 135. He's at 140 now. Right? You'd hear all of that. You hear that with several fighters in that division when it comes to talking about fighting Jaron Ennis. But you can't get it for Gervonta, and you can't get it for Monster Inoue and Gervonta. I think maybe you should think about that a little more thoroughly. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.